Checking our Restream. Restream looks good. If you guys can check out the BaconDAO YouTube or the Virtual Bacon YouTube, pretty sure we're live on there, but just to make sure. Yeah, I see a couple people on Twitter as well already. Make sure.
Yeah, I just
okay. Yeah, we're
there
there,
too.
so it's good. Okay, all live. All right, welcome everyone to another week's BaconDAO community call, hosted by yours truly. Yeah, as usual, every Sunday at 6 p.m. UTC, we host a community call covering mostly education and the week's market analysis. And this isn't just by myself, but also 4 or 5 other contributors of the BaconDAO community. So every week we have Bitcoin analysis, Ethereum analysis, Bitcoin dominance analysis. We have Viper covering BSC and other gem CCs. We have Luke covering the same with low cap and Bitcoin dominance and other gems. We have Mahi covering Polkadot, Kusama. Right now there's a lot of crowd loan actions. And then started with last week, we started to do a DAO ideas thread to get questions and sort of people's suggestions for topics the week before, so that we know like what to talk about on the call. So we'll have a long segment of just kind of Q&A there at the end. So yeah, without further ado, let's get this week's analysis started. Starting off with, so let's just do same as last week. So let's start off with Viper. And as usual, Viper, let's not have like the entire news coverage of everything that happened in BSC, but something that you found to be very interesting or useful, potentially profitable, or some gems that you found this week, please share with us, and let's have a discussion between me and you.
Absolutely. So I noticed there's a trend going on right now in BSC where, of course, play to earn is normally very hyped and a good way to make money. But as you guys have seen on the Tokimon, that was a horrible rug. And so be very, very careful when you're looking at these play to earns. You can easily kind of tell when a dox is fake. A lot of times they'll use really, really fake pictures on their LinkedIn. They'll use Bob Smith or very, very generic names. And the biggest key thing is when the person, when they upload a video, oh, this is me talking about the project, when you see their eyes trailing and reading something, they're clearly, why do you have to read something if you're doxing yourself and talking about your own project?
Yeah.
So those are a lot of key things that are common with these rugs, but something that's lucrative that you should keep in mind from here on out. And you may already know this, but this is further confirmation that innovation is usually rewarded. And what I mean by that is if you see the millionth fork of SafeMoon, what makes it so special? Because it's called Shiba Cumrag Dog Rocket. Like, it's more than just a name. You want to see something innovative. I posted, if you guys have seen, if you're not familiar with the BSC channel, I started a rating system from 1 to 5 where instead of me kind of hinting at some gems that I think have potential, I can at least now do a full analysis and have a little graphic to show you that contains more capturing the eye and bringing people into the BaconDAO. The reason why I say that is because I did post recently one that hasn't launched yet called Rewards Bunny, and you may be thinking, okay, great, another bunny fork, a fork that promises to pay Reflect in cake. Well, it not only is innovative in a way that they are going to make sure that they have a CertiK audit completed before even raising presale, but they're also innovative in a way that they're going to be the first elastic Reflect token. Now, this by all means does not mean it's going to be successful. This by all means does not mean it's going to be 100% safe. Even with CertiK audits, nothing's 100% safe, but you can see and definitely you can see with the hype that innovation is rewarded. And by that I mean this is more likely to do well because you can actually see that there's some passion in the project. It's not just oh, let me pump up another shitcoin that's a word that Elon said, and hopes to make some money and leave. This is more trying to make a new space, trying to bring to the market a new idea. And so, yes, thousands of tokens. As soon as this one launches, we'll just fork that because there's verified contracts. But this is one good way to, if you're going to buy shitcoins, to buy the right one or likely the right one. So that's really something I found really innovative, Dennis, on BSC. And on KCC, which I always like to keep track of a lot of different chains. KCC is really, and I should probably call it by its full name, KuCoin Community Chain. It's definitely in its early stages, and it's definitely not the same hype BSC has or will have in anytime soon. But number one, their gas token, KCS, I think that has a lot of potential, has a lot of room to grow. It's not even $1 billion market cap, has less token supply than BNB. It's the same exact idea. It's connected to another centralized exchange, just like how Binance is for BSC. KuCoin is for KuCoin Community Chain, and with the exception of KuCoin actually not requiring you to use a VPN. So U.S. residents may use it without having to evade restrictions if that's the choice you decided to make in the past. So there's definitely room to grow in the chain. There's room to grow in the price action for KCS. But I've noticed a lot of their tokens, at first it was really just a rug fest because it was just filled with meme coins. But as you'll see now, the KuCoin, I guess I don't know the exact name, but like the founders, not even the founders, the foundational center, the people who do grants and support the chain, which is actually not KuCoin. KuCoin was just an investor, which is why it's even less centralized than BSC.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so one really lucrative thing you can do if you're interested on KCC, which by the way, each month they burn more KCS tokens until they've burnt half the supply, I believe. So it's another incentive. But one thing you could do if you're on KCC and trying to look for, potential, especially with this market being the way it is right now, potential moonshot, is look at who is under their proposals for a grant. Look at who has an AMA with them. They are actually doing AMAs with certain projects. So this is a good way to kind of, I wouldn't say insider knowledge, but this is a good way to kind of do your own due diligence. And specifically the token Coffee and KuSwap, those are the two dexes, the most popular dexes over there. They've dumped a lot, definitely when the market was red, and they're nowhere where they used to be, but they are starting to have AMAs with the foundation. So there'll definitely be more support. So that's a possible, thing to look at is if it's bottom now, well, and if it's the DEX to use, then of course it has some potential. So those are really the tips I'd like to emphasize in today's call. And as always, I have the educational calls every Thursday at 6 p.m. We go over a lot of BSC things, and yeah, thank you, Dennis.
Awesome. Thanks, Viper, for the coverage. I think the part where how to spot like fake doxing of the developers kind of videos, I think it reminds me of a video I saw with Roger Ver back in like the Mongox days, like when Mongox first collapsed. They because they're based in Japan, right? And then Roger Ver is like right across from their office. So, and he was pretty famous back then. So they clearly gave him a script to tell him, I support Mongox, everything's operational. And you just see him like just kind of reading, like trying to not show that he's reading, but it's so clear. There's like even a screen reflection in his eyes. And
And even if it's a true dox, I mean,
Yeah.
that still doesn't really do anything. Doesn't hold. I mean, a lot of times people are in countries with no extradition laws, and for example, people in poor countries like Venezuela and other countries, they're willing to read off any script with their face on it for anything to, you know, so they can survive, and I
Mm.
don't blame them, but it's just another factor. So it's not really like you should never judge the docs based on what country they're from. That would be stupid. But it's just really the little keys, key things like seeing if their eyes are reading something, and you can really tell it in their tone and voice. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I would say, like, if that's your one of the key things you want to know is if the team and the core founders of a project that you're investing in is legit, then you don't want to just to have them as real people, right? How's that a good metric? The criteria, you have to look at their track record, right? Have they built anything? Do they have a reputation to maintain? Have they built stuff successfully? Are they able to deliver on stuff that they promised, and have they done that before, right? So I would say that's, but maybe that's even too high standards for nowadays. So
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways,
Most
yeah,
of the time, you can't even talk to the dev.
that's
It's
kind
just,
of crazy.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the coverage there, Viper. Really appreciate it. Next up, let's go to I guess we'll go to Mahi first, because then with Luke we can talk a bit longer about a couple of things we have planned. So Mahi, what's up? What's happening in Polkadot and Kusama this week? Is there any new projects coming up? Good crowd loans to participate in?
Okay. Just to firstly answer that question, since last week, when I last said Polkadot was at a standstill, it's still at a standstill. Ever since Bifrost won the 5th Kusama parachain slot auction on July 24th, no new projects have emerged, tokens launched, or crowd loans started. Um, just judging off what we can to make some gem picks. Historically, the native token of a new Kusama parachain performs well. In Karura's case, it doubled from the time of most exchange listings to now. That said, I want to highlight one of my personal favorite Kusama parachains, Shiden Network, and their native token SDN.
Okay, let me bring that up. Should an SDN.
Both Shiden and a star, which is its parent network,
Yeah.
share the purpose of being a dApps hub on Kusama. Shiden Network is a multi-chain decentralized application layer on Kusama. The Kusama Relay Chain. The reason for it is the Kusama Relay Chain doesn't support smart contract functionality by design, so Kusama needs a smart contract layer, and Shiden fulfills that purpose. It supports Ethereum Virtual Machine, WebAssembly, and Layer 2 from day one, and the platform supports various applications like DeFi, NFTs, and more. Shiden's dApps Hub makes developing smart contracts on Kusama seamless for ETH and Layer 2 devs. The technological stack Shiden brings to Kusama is impressive in its own right. Shiden recently teamed up with Kylan to achieve Polkadot's cross-chain messaging protocol, or XCMP on Polkadot. XCMP simply allows consensus-based messaging between parachains. This architecture is a first of its kind and is another accolade for the team. Finally, Shiden has succeeded in forming meaningful partnerships with fellow Polkadot projects and retail tools. Shiden is the first to announce Trezor and Ledger support for their Shiden Polkadot JS page, and have launched a block explorer for the parachain using Subscan. Akala and Kylan, which they both use for XCMP, are a few partnerships that highlight the team's ability to collaborate and innovate. All of these reasons solidify Shiden and Astar's position as a cornerstone of Polkadot and Kusama infrastructure going forward. So I think the use case with Shiden is obvious, and there's already demand for it as a dApps hub, and in the future you'll see some DeFi protocols that weren't that weren't able to get their own slot might be developing on Shittin's smart
App
contract
Hub,
layer.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Supports
and
ETH, it supports layer 2, right? It's a good pivot that they
and
did.
WebAssembly.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Okay. Yeah.
So basically, what I'm looking for is Shittin has already distributed the token to the crowd loan participants, and I think also the crowd loan participants through centralized exchanges. So I'm kind of waiting for some centralized exchange listing for the token, and I think I'll be buying into it because, like as I said,
Yeah.
Karura doubled,
So
and
Karura went from like
Shittin
$4 on launch to
to
now
like
like
$9.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 was peak. Now it's at 7. It's pretty good for the past month.
Yeah, and Shittin certainly has the same demand as a Kala. So that's just one thing I'm looking out for. There really isn't that much to talk about because there's only 5 parachains. Karura, Shittin, Bifrost, and Kala, and Moon River. So those are the 5. The other 3, I think all of them have distributed crowd loan rewards.
Yeah.
Um, The only one that has exchange listings is Karura, because it did come first. And then second was Moon River, so maybe we'll see exchange listings for that token before Shittin, because Shittin was third, I believe.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm looking forward to proper announcement from Polkadot. Not entirely sure what this whole standstill is about. Uh, Waiting for either announcing the 6th parachain auction on Kusama or the first on Polkadot. That is to be determined, but either way it'll be big because then crowd loans will starting and we'll have more things to talk about. But for now, that's all that's happening.
Okay. That's great. I think it's like performance side aside, right? Like market cap or whatnot. Like this is the first crowd loan project in the grand Polkadot Kusama ecosystem that actually has a parachain, right? And a token listed. So it sets a good standard, right? I think this performance, like, not only is the Karura supporters, the Kala supporters, and their investors, but also probably the ecosystem wide. Because if you're Shittin or your Moon River for example, like this would be what people compare you to, right? It's like, okay, Karura launched their car token in a month, they doubled, so now we're launching Moon River, we're launching Shittin. These tokens, by kind of reflexivity or what people might think, will want to ape into it, right? So like effectively this kind of consolidation period might be shorter. So yeah, I would say that doesn't take away anything from like Karura continue to keep going, but yeah, just something to keep in mind is I think you brought up a very simple but great point. Is if you're looking to play the crowd loans, like there aren't new crowd loans right now, right? Which is at a standstill. But the main thing to potentially profit from, if you're into the Polkadot Kusama ecosystem, is the existing crowd loan parachain tokens being listed, and people speculating that the new tokens will perform the same way as Karura. And you can come on the chart and everyone can see it. So yeah, I'm sure they'll do well because they're fundamentally very strong projects as well. Cool. So thanks for that coverage, Mahi. Really appreciate it. I think it's very exciting, and a personal favorite project of mine, RMRK, right, is also just about to list, and they're actually one of the first tokens to launch on StateMine, right, which is the crowd goods parachain of Kusama. Really hoping for this ecosystem to just start taking off and like people aping into every native Polkadot / Kusama asset, right? Because you had this narrative like last year when these so-called substrate projects were launching and they're releasing the placeholder token of theirs as a fundraise on ETH and saying, okay, we're in the Polkadot ecosystem, but none of them was on Polkadot, right? But now there's actually some native assets, Karura being the first. This doing well, and then the other pair chains, if they do well, then I think people would potentially start ape into all of the legit projects that are native substrate tokens. That's what I hope, because I have a lot of money in RMRK. Cool. So thanks for that, Mahi. Next up, let's move on to the segment with Luke. And usually Luke covers low cap and layer 2 stuff, gems in that range, like Solana, Polygon, and just individual like DeFi plays. But also this week, we do have a pretty big announcement with the official proposal of our Axie Infinity scholarship program. We prepared that, finalized that last night, and I'm just gonna post that in the announcements while Luke is talking first. So Luke, what's up?
How's it going, guys? We've been talking about it for some time now, and we've definitely been alluding to a Axie Infinity scholarship program. And for those who don't know, Axie Infinity is a blockchain-based play-to-earn video game. It's currently been surging in popularity because it helps people in countries with low minimum wage. It gives them a new kind of opportunity. So we see a lot of people in developing countries seek scholarships because there is such high startup costs to these teams. So what we're looking to do as a DAO is we're looking to acquire some 8 starting teams. And when we do acquire these 8 starting teams, we will acquire 8 strong teams of in-meta Axies. We're not buying the floor Axies and pushing them onto you guys. And then we're going to scale those strong Axies, and we're going to scale those 8 initial teams to 75 teams after about. Our goal is 30 days, but there might be a little bit of we might have delays on onboarding and whatnot. But our goal is 30 days. So to onboard 75 scholars. So yes, we're gonna this program will be managed by me and Mr. Bamzo for the foreseeable future. So from there, once we have our 75 scholars, we're then going to take our Axies that we have bred from our initial 8. We will try to preserve how their genes and their traits as best as we can. And when we get to the plateau phase, our main goal for this phase will be to breed and sell these strong Axies, and they ultimately would fetch a higher premium this way. So rather than just buying the floor Axies, which have no premium and have very little demand, we would ultimately be in a very niche market with very illiquid Axies as our competition. So the Axies that we're currently looking to acquire are pretty illiquid on the marketplace because there's such a high demand for them, both in terms of playing and in terms of breeding. So by the time we get to the plateau phase, we should be able to recoup a lot of our initial expenses just by trying to preserve our 8 in meta Axies.
Yeah. Let me just jump in there. So
yeah, go ahead.
basically, I just posted the proposal that's put together with all the details in the announcements. We'll also share this on Twitter, on Telegram, everywhere else today. So two ways, I guess two kinds of members, right? If you are a Axie Infinity player and you're looking for a scholarship, definitely read this. You would be familiar already with how the game works, and you would know like how many hours you are willing to kind of contribute to playing the game. And so we do have a form that's interest form, but very soon, once we have this enough people look at the proposal, we'll put out the official sign up. But make sure you go through this if you're a scholar and see our proposed team builds, see if that makes sense to you, and our 3 phases with how we acquire kind of the A teams to begin with, the plateau where we start to recoup our investment, and then how we plan to scale forward. And if you're a scholar specifically, the revenue share will be very interesting to you. So typically, from what Luke studied with Mr. Bamzo, other guilds might do 20% for managers, and between 40 to 70% for the scholars, rest to the DAO or the project. So for us, because we have a initial like ramping up phase, what we're doing is 20% for managers, 40% in SLP for scholars, 40% SLPs for DAOs. So it's a big chunk going to the DAO first, but we're going to supplement or have a subsidy in Bacon tokens to cover the rest of the 20% of the SLP earnings. So effectively, our breakdown revenue is more like 60% for scholars, and 20 for managers, 20 for DAO. But out of the 60%, you will get 40%, 40% of the total in SLP, and then 20% in Bacon. But we'll make sure that there's enough liquidity and the prices match up to your earnings. So that's a key distinction there. We think this is a really good trade-off because this allows scholars to get a very standard rate that they expect from the revenue share in dollar value, right? But it also allows the DAO to accumulate SLP so we can breed faster and scale the program faster. And this is really innovative design because this is impossible unless we have the Bacon token, but we do, right? So another good incentive there. Aside from that, make sure you check out this proposal on the BaconDAO hub in our announcements, and share it on our socials very soon. And look at the budget request segment, specifically if you are just a BaconDAO member and you don't plan to become a scholar and play the game, then this budget segment will be really interesting to you because it outlines the first month is the scaling phase, right? And then the second month is the plateau phase. And if you're a member, you would be most interested in how much money we're putting inside the program from the treasury to begin with. In this case, it's around 50 ETH. And how much of that we can for sure, recoup after 2 months, which is a range, right? So at the very least, we will have 22 ETH back. On the high end, we have 36. And you can see all of the calculations there. And then after the second month, right, this program just kind of runs itself. We don't have to put in any more investments, and continuously, our scholars make money from SLP, treasury gains SLP, and it hopefully, as long as the Axie Infinity game continues to stay at the same level or grow in market cap, we will continue to recoup costs, day after day. That's the plan. So make sure you check out the budget request and see how this is actually beneficial for us. We also have an asset allocations, budget allocations breakdown here, risk and concerns, conclusion. And just make sure that after you checked it out, if you think this makes sense, please vote yes. If you think it doesn't, vote no. And any comments and feedback, leave a reply below. We really want to make this a DAO decided program. Of course, we have our lead, people that are taking point on this, Luke and Bamzo. They are, they play the game themselves. They have studied the scholarships. They know the breakdown. So big kudos to them for coming up with this. I'm sure they'll be rewarded as well with the manager breakdowns of the fees. But this is how we want to do things. We present the proposal where we think is fair and best through our research. But since we're using the DAO's treasury and we want all the members to have a look at this, make sure they understand it, and together we can decide on what to do next. But I think this is a really good proposal. And last thing I would note is not only with the budget request, with the consistent profits after the plateau period, but also you have to take into account that lots of people are interested in projects related to Axie Infinity, right? These guilds, for example, Yield Guild is probably the largest one, most famous one right now. Their YGG token, revenue aside, right? I don't know the specifics breakdown, but just the fact that they are in the Axie Infinity ecosystem and they're associated with it, because people are interested in Axie Infinity, there are speculations that happen with the YGG token as well. So that's a big marketing area that we'll for sure try to capture on. So that with this program, of course, we're not just using it as pure marketing. If you're a scholar, we can onboard 75 scholars just in the first month, and then there's a real revenue generation as outlined in our entire proposal. We did a lot of research, but we'll also make sure that even if you're just speculator and you're in the Axie Infinity ecosystem, you're looking at different guilds, we'll make sure our name shows up on there, as BaconDAO is a big contender for Axie scholarship guilds, right? And that is what we are. So hopefully that can drive some just speculative attention to BaconDAO, the overall membership, and the Bacon token as well. Just putting things plainly, right? I think this is, from all ways you look at it, is a very good proposal. Anything to add there, Luke?
No, I think you covered it pretty well.
Okay.
I'm very optimistic with this project, and I hope we can push it through. Yeah,
same as well. I didn't mean to take away your spotlight there, because all of this is written by you, right? And Bamzo.
Yeah.
I just think since we just posted this, right? Let's have the members and scholars read through this, and if you have any questions at any time, jump into our BaconDAO Discord and go into our, I'm not sure if we have an Axie chat yet, but we do have an internal Axie team. You can
gaming chat, I think.
Yeah, so you can send a message in our gaming chat, or even just ask anything chat. Basically all the chats are moderators, right? So if you send it in the relevant chat, gaming chat, ask anything, or member chat, we'll see it and we'll answer your questions. And if you're a scholar, make sure you already joined our Discord, follow us on Twitter, and Telegram. Those will be the 3 places that we'll make sure to announce when you can sign up. And that's about it. So over this week, read it in depth. Make sure you leave a comment on the hub or Discord if you have any concerns with it. And we'll give it about a week for people to vote yes or no, give comments, small tweaks, and then Luke and Bamzo will always be here to answer questions when they see them. And then hopefully by next week, we'll have a very concrete date that we can start onboarding people. And I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, awesome. And okay, just moving back to our regularly scheduled programming. Any gems, low caps, layer 2 DeFi stuff that you think are particularly interesting this week, Luke?
Nothing. I don't have anything too much alpha. I did want to announce. I think I heard you talking about it though. RMR eggs are going to be launching here soon.
Yeah.
They had some trouble with their multi-sig accounts.
Yeah.
But it should take a week.
Yep.
And Convex Finance has surpassed $5 billion in total value locked.
What?
And if you compare
What?
that to, yeah,
5 billion. Wow. Okay.
if you compare that to Yearn Finance, they can, I think they can 10x just based on their market to total value locked ratio.
Yeah.
Just based on that, it's probably not the best metric, but as you can see, there's quite a room for it to grow. So it's definitely one that I'm watching here. One alt that I'm watching here to buy.
Okay,
Especially
let's go through those really quick. So first off, RMRK, right?
Yeah.
So RMRK, we haven't talked about this for a few weeks because we covered it quite a while when you could still get in, but the sale's been closed for a while. We're just waiting for the listing. So basically, RMRK is a substrate native on Kusama first NFT protocol. You can think of it similar to ERC 721, ERC 1155. And they have their own marketplace built out called Singular, which is like a bare bones version of OpenSea. But it's the first like Kusama native one, right? So they have a lot of partnerships with Karura, right? Bitfrost, Plasm, or Astar, which is now what it's called, Moonriver, right? These guys are all issuing like limited edition like eggs, I think, collectible eggs on their platform if you participate in the crowd loans. So their tech is definitely very sound, and they did their raise as kind of a proof of concept with their protocol. So they sold these eggs called Canary eggs on rmrk.app. If you go on the website rmrk.app, and you can find basically they sold NFTs instead of tokens directly to show that their app works. And then if you, for everyone that has bought the Canary eggs, you will be airdropped their tokens, the RMRK tokens. And this has been planned for a while. They're going to list on KuCoin. KuCoin has already officially supported this. It's just waiting on the date. And specifically, two things needs to happen. First off is the Kusama state mine parachain that allows people to issue tokens. That has to be decentralized and allow anyone to issue tokens, so they can issue their token on there. And secondly, they just posted an announcement last week or a couple of days ago on their sub social. If you look at, I'm not sure what their newsletter is, but effectively there's been an update here. So before they said they're going to have a token claim UI that they'll build that up, and then you can go on the website and claim your token if you hold the NFT in your wallet. But now to save time, they said as long as you hold the eggs at the snapshot, they will just airdrop RMRK tokens to your Polkadot Kusama wallet. Specifically, here's the specifics. You can read it. Just Google RMRK token claim. And I'm not sure where you saw the around a week planned. Oh, okay. So here, yeah. So they ran into a small issue with multisig not working with the StateMine parachain because it's like literally it just went live. So they're one of the first tokens to launch on there. But that's why they're doing this airdrop instead, I think. So look out for this. I think they'll be distributing these tokens very soon, in a couple of weeks, right? 1 to 2 weeks. And then once that's out there, right away, KuCoin will want to list it right away because because you can already get these eggs on KuCoin. And a lot of people have been bugging KuCoin, like, when are you going to list? Where are you going to list, right? So once it's technically feasible, it'll be trading right away. And just a bit of alpha there, right? So initially, why I covered this and invested in this was because their tokenomics is very fair. So they have a total supply of 10 million, same as the KSM token, but they are effectively airdropping all of the token supply as according to the eggs that they sold, and the rest of the eggs that are not sold will actually be burnt, and the same tokens will be burnt, from what I remember. So and throughout their sale period, price varied from between $1 to $2 per token. So assuming a 10 million total supply, that gives you like wait, was it $1 to $2? Yeah, that gives you like 10. I actually don't remember if it's $1 or 50 cents. I think it was 50. Yeah, per armor. Okay.
Yeah, it was $1.
Yeah, I think let's just assume it's $1. I'm pretty sure it's below $1 right now, because it was 2 KSM for 430 tokens, which at the current price is around $1, right? So let's just take current price of $1 per token. So 10 million total supply, that's 10 million total diluted market cap, right? Not the circulating, right? So there's literally no inflation. And if you compare like total diluted market cap projects with 10 million, total market cap at this scale, right? With a project that's a full-fledged protocol for NFTs on Kusama and Polkadot that's partnered with Karura, Plasm, Moonriver, all of these big guys in the ecosystem, I think it's very undervalued, just market cap wise, right? So that was the main reason I bought these eggs, was the tokenomics. So yeah, a bit of alpha there. I would expect on listing dates that you can probably get in around the same prices, around the $1 mark, because these guys haven't done much of the traditional like IDO hype type of marketing, as you can see from the few people that have talked about them on and their Telegram group is very much just their whole their core community. So a bit under the radar, definitely look out for it. And if you get an opportunity to get the tokens similar to what the founders, the investors, and other insiders paid, which was around $1, and then because they also had to buy the eggs. So if you can get it around the $1 mark, I would say it's a good opportunity on listing. Bit rambly there, but okay.
No, all good.
Just since we haven't covered it for a while, and then the next point we wanted to cover is the DeFi total value locked comparison to market cap, the ratio with it. So best place to look at this, I would say, is on CoinGecko. If you look at the DeFi tag just on top here, click into that, and then you would get a list of all the DeFi coins: Uniswap, Chainlink, Terra, DAI, Aave, Compound Synthetics, etc. And then you see like you have your market cap capitalization, you have your fully diluted market cap, and then the last metric here is the market cap to total value locked ratio. So with DeFi, right, if you're a lending protocol, people put money into your protocol to earn yield or trade on Uniswap or provide liquidity. So the amount of value locked inside your protocol is kind of a nod to how legit your protocol is, right? If there are billions of dollars locked in your protocol, it's clearly better than or safer, because more people trust it, than another protocol with a couple million. And if you put that alongside the market cap and do a ratio, right, you have these a somewhat a metric that people use. I don't know how reliable it is, but it definitely is somewhat a good indication of what's undervalued. So something that has really high market cap to TVL ratio means that most of it is hype, right? There's not much money actually deployed in this DeFi protocol. For example, the top one here is DFI money and Injective, right? So, but if you rank by lowest to highest, you have some of the top ranking ones. So Convex we just talked about. Another is InstaDApp. But let's take Convex for example. Luke just said it just broke 5 billion in total value locked, right? So this project has currently a market cap of only $80 million, right, for its own coin, but there's already $5 billion deployed in its smart contracts. So if you compare this to, say, Yearn Finance, which is down here with its 0.29, right? The two of them are both yield aggregators at the high level, right? You put your money in there, stable coins or Bitcoin, whatever. They go on Curve and other protocols to get the best yield, and they shift it around, right? That's what a yield aggregator is. So Yearn Finance and Convex Finance are very similar in what they do, but their market cap to TVL ratio is vastly different because Convex is only 0.02 while Yearn is already 0.29, 0.3. So judging by that, what it tells us is Convex's coin is relatively undervalued based on how many people actually are using it. If you compare it to something similar to Yearn. Yeah, that summarizes it. This is one way to look at it. Of course, it doesn't mean that this will just like magically go 15x tomorrow, right? It'll take time, and there are other metrics and factors that drive the price. For example, maybe Convex is just less known because they don't do any marketing, and Yearn does a lot of marketing. Just an example, right? I don't know the specifics, but purely looking at how much is locked up versus their market cap, Convex is definitely more undervalued than Yearn currently. And if you want to learn more about this project specifically, we do have a community submitted research article on this specific project. If you go on the BaconDAO hub, hub.bacondao.com, and going to the research tab, we have a piece of research submitted by Dave Ether, which is another one of our community members that's just been super helpful and sharing gems all the time. And he has made a bit of an overview of how to use, what it is, and why it's undervalued with Convex Finance. Make sure you check this out. And kudos to Dave Ether. Anything else that we missed? Or
No, I think that's it from me until Bitcoin dominance. Anyways.
Okay, right. So, okay, let's move into that. Yeah, since you're here, let's do Bitcoin dominance first. And then we'll bring on Wonka to give his analysis, because I think the price wise for Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think for Bitcoin at least, price wise, current movement is debatable. You could have alternate accounts, you could have bullish or bearish outlook, but I think Bitcoin dominance is a bit, I would say, a bit clearer. So I posted a video about this yesterday. Luke, I don't know if you have charts. If you want, you can send them and I'll share them on screen.
Yeah, I just posted them in events content.
Cool. Okay, so bring up events content. Right, for all the stuff we just talked about, make sure you check out events content as well in the Discord. So, okay, bring up the first chart you posted.
So yeah, on the weekly, this last candle, Bitcoin dominance has wicked down to the 45.5% weekly support.
Yep.
Before pulling back to the weekly trend line, and we can tell this by the wick down all the way down to the support line, and then the candle close has since rose all the way back up to the red trend line.
Yep.
On the weekly, I think Bitcoin dominance does look a little bit indecisive with these last two candles. However, it does look like this last pullback with this close would look like the beginnings of a rejection if it does continue to be bearish.
Yeah.
And then we see that same conclusion on the daily.
Okay, bring it up.
Yeah,
okay.
so on the daily, so we see the wick down to the support when it broke the red trend line.
Yeah.
And it's since rallied back up to the red trend line. And after taking a bounce, it rallied back up to the red trend line.
Yeah.
And then experienced a rejection. It only pulled back to my blue weekly trend, my other blue weekly trend line.
That's the long-term one, right? Or is it?
Yes, that's the one from like the end of 2019 to now.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the more long-term scale, and it did take a bounce there, but it looks like it's going to make a lower close. So I think it's probably going to reverse here, and it's not going to make a full-fledged challenge on the red weekly support.
Yeah.
But it's kind of more predicated on Bitcoin right now.
Yeah.
However, I do think we're set to see lower lows from here. At least the chart. That's what the daily chart looks like, anyways.
Yeah. I kind of have the same thing mapped out. Is like, I'm not following the long-term trend line anymore. With I think it's like something like this one, right?
Yeah.
Because this is like at least I wouldn't use this on daily because I think it's kind of stretching it, but yeah, and you can mark this like there, and then so it's debatable which tops these were, but I think the clear one is for sure like we've had this alt season way back, and then we had a consolidation, right? So this is a classic rising wedge. So typically a continuation pattern. So since the previous move was down, more likely to be down, right? Pending a breakout. So now that we have broken down below the support, the retest here at the support line there, the bottom blue is the best entry. And because this is Bitcoin dominance chart, the best entry here, meaning the ideal time to buy altcoins, right? If you are overall bullish on crypto, at this retest is the optimal time to shift your Bitcoin into altcoins. And that's what I said yesterday at the very end of the Dogecoin video was this is the optimal time to look at your favorite altcoins and make an entry. Because you're not risking much, right? If this taking this position here, right? If Bitcoin dominance just continues to rally, right, you would definitely have your stop like above here if it takes out this high. But the lower, right, at least is here. But if we start a major alt season and it starts to like respect the long-term daily and weekly pattern, right, with a major move like this, then the 40% low is not the target. That's the first target. So risk and reward here by buying into altcoins is very good. Now, one thing though is if you are overall bearish on Bitcoin still and you think this is a bull trap and we're heading down, I would be a little bit more careful because if you're long altcoins, right, you are effectively still taking on risk of Bitcoin going down, right? I'm a bit more confident because I kind of have a bullish bias right now, in bullish outlook in Bitcoin. So even if this kind of goes sideways like this, just kind of uncertain, this is fine as long as Bitcoin goes up. This would mean like altcoins are going up the same amount as Bitcoin because the dominance is the same. So I don't lose any money. In fact, I'd still make money. But if you think Bitcoin will go down, then I would take this a bit more with a bit more caution, because in that case, even if it does this and Bitcoin is going down, you're losing money in the dollar value. And yeah, so just laying out all the scenarios, but from what my outlook is, this is a good opportunity to buy altcoins based on my own analysis. Okay, so is that it, Luke? Anything else you would like to add?
No, I think I'm pretty content with that.
Okay, awesome. I think we can. Again, we pretty much agree. I would hate for this to be an echo chamber, so let's also hear Wonka. Because I know quite a few times, I have been bullish, and then Wonka just called the top on me like 3 times, not that I remember. So, Wonka, you there?
Yeah. How are you guys? How are you, baby?
Hey, I'm good. Yeah, if you have charts, send them in events chat or events content.
Yeah, as usual, to events content.
Okay.
What's up, guys? Thanks for jumping in. The idea holds the same. We're in this E-wave development. I've been watching the Fibonacci lines pretty closely, and I've mentioned that Bitcoin can rally to 50 Fibonacci and the golden pocket as well. And so far we are trading above the 50, which is 43,000. And what's interesting is that if you do some observations with Bitcoin, you'll see that Bitcoin has some relationship with golden pocket. It likes to get there usually, but I would not count on that for now. That's just for an observation. I did some speed fan analysis, which is basically showing you where can Bitcoin travel with horizontal Fibonacci resistances, and we've hit the golden region there, we've hit the inverse golden region, which is 1.618. You know all that golden pocket on Fibonacci retracement is 0.618,
yep.
And the inverse of it is 1.618, and we hit there exactly. It's I believe that on low time frame I'll show what I'm expecting, but if this is the top, right, it's not confirmed yet, but it looks like it is. But if this is the top, I'm not sure how, but it looks like that this dip won't take long. I mean, maybe until August or until September or like until 12th of October maybe. But I don't see this this drive down to the downside taking like 3 years or something like that. I see that Bitcoin will resume the pump, and I'm not sure if this year we're gonna reach 100,000 or no, but I'm pretty convinced that this dump won't take long, like the one that took in 2017 for 3 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Also, we've been watching the hash ribbons indicator, which is historically good buy signal for Bitcoin. And as far as I know, hash ribbons is based on the hash rate, some calculations there. I'm not sure, guys, but it's a fundamental indicator.
Yeah.
And whenever I'll see a buy signal there, I'll consider that we are at the bottom or near the bottom. To me, primary analysis always come waves, and if waves tell me that we are at the bottom, then yeah. This is the daily chart, and to be honest, guys, this is pretty textbook pattern. I didn't label the waves in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, because I'm sure we all know it already at this point. Sorry if Twitter viewers don't see it. You have to join Discord or YouTube.
No, it's okay. I'm sharing the screen, but they'll have to join to see your actual analysis breakdown of the waves in text. Yeah.
Right. So this is pretty much a textbook pattern, guys. We had a rally from 2018 to 2019 July, which was wave 1, 2 coming down, bottoming out with the March crash. And what you will see usually in nature, in technical analysis, is that wave 4 usually retraces to the channel that is being created from the start of wave 1 and the bottom of wave 2. And you see how I've drawn the channel. And
so you're
I'm
targeting
expecting,
like the yellow box here, right? I like
exactly.
22.
Exactly.
Yeah.
22, exactly. That's my target. And what's interesting is that in earlier waves you have something like this. Wave 2 is always retraces a lot, like from 50 to 79% of the Fibonacci retracement. And if it retraces more than 79%, then you have to then it might not be a wave 2 and it might be a correction. And I'll cover something interesting with regards to that as well. And those wave 4, waves they alternate each other. So if wave 2 is deep, wave 4 should not be that deep. And the usual target for wave 4, 75% of wave 4s, they land at 39% of Fibonacci, and that's exactly where the channel is at, and where the Fibonacci number is 39% as well. And moreover, if you'll see, I have a pitchfork there that is being drawn from wave 1 top and wave 2 bottom. And you can see that the 65K top, I have the top in the band, right? On the top left side, you see the blue band.
Yeah.
And waves are they have a correlation to each other. So it will be just very, very beautiful to just get equidistant move from here to the lower band of the pitchfork. That's just going to be the textbook pattern of Elliott wave. No more perfect than that. So yeah, I have four or five confluence there that we're going there. And now, with regard to what I said, the March dump went more than Fibonacci 79%, which is telling me that this move up from here might be only from March low to May high 2021, so 65K top.
Yep.
This all might be wave 1, and only if Bitcoin cannot sustain 22,000 or the channel, I will accept the weeks. But if the daily closes below the channel, then I'm convinced that Bitcoin is going to 10,000, Ethereum is going to $200. Now, I've received some weird comments about that, and in trading, guys, you better not be emotional. And
yeah, it really doesn't matter, right? Like it's
yeah.
Just because you have a target, like if they don't think so, they don't have to listen to it, right? But like,
exactly.
I know we all want to be bullish, but like, if everyone says like we're only gonna go to 100K, 200K tomorrow, then what are you trading? It's like you're just, if you really believe that, then why are you here? Just buy and hold. Like, you're here to get logical opinions and to see what people are thinking, and then even if you don't believe it, like you think it's wrong, then just like disprove it and then come up with your own, right? So, but I don't think attacking people makes sense.
That's probably what you spoke also about like 2 or 3 weeks ago on weekly call with being invested too much, or we were talking about risk management, I remember. So yeah, like that you cannot invest what you cannot afford to lose and things like that, so you don't get emotional.
Yeah.
And actually, Bitcoin is confirming something very beautiful just now. This is
you have a new chart.
Live chart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the way it seems is that this move down looks impulsive.
This is the 15-minute chart. Okay.
Yeah, which is telling me that the 5 move up that you see from the left side,
yeah,
was the final 5th wave, this D-wave rally. So I made a little small joke in the Bitcoin analysis that we have a jackpot, and the jackpot is the 555 and the B. I'm resetting the chart there. That's just for fun, and that looks like that we have topped it out here. Now, my play would be that I would wait for a pullback here to initiate my short. But the way it seems to me right now, guys, is that we're not going to take out anymore 45,355 bucks. The moment I see entry for the short, I will enter the short, put my stop loss at the red line, which is the 45,355.
Yeah.
And if I get invalidated there, which means that if the market has different plans, which I'll have to find out what plans, then I better be out of the trade. That trade will likely be a 2% stop loss or 5% stop loss with the target to the 22,000. And that is, I'm not sure like how many percentage that is, but it's a good risk to reward, at least for me.
Yeah. Makes sense.
That is
So
50%,
just
yeah.
so that I understand, so you are looking at the first impulsive wave, which is after peaking at 45,355, you saw a 5-wave move, right? Potential 5-wave move instead of a 3.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm resetting the chart. One, like this is a little bigger scale chart.
Yeah.
Here. And
Okay, got it.
I don't know, guys. The way it seems to me is that that's it for this D-Wave rally. I've initiated my short on Atom with a stop loss at 14.88, 14.800.
So this
the
is
target to
1 hour.
3 point.
Okay. I like how you're
Yeah.
using VPVR. That's a really good indicator. It's really good.
Yeah, the volume profile.
Yeah.
So the problem I have is that I usually miss supports and resistances because I'm so focused on like what wave is this. If I don't see them and I
you
get
don't
anxious
see
and
like
nervous.
the level horizontal levels with a lot of confluence. VPVR helps that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And VPR shows me where is potential support, and what I love the most is that when Fibonacci targets match it. So I'm like, damn, that's it.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. I think I'm not a fan of speed fans because like it's from a book I read, right? It's like if you have horizontals, typically like if you have previous price action, like math-based indicators like speed fans and like speed lines, etc., like that, like just are percentage based. They aren't as useful because they like help you find the levels if there's no previous price action there. But in this case, like I don't think it's a coincidence that you had like the golden pocket around 618 match up to the 49k 47 to 49
exactly.
like bottom there. Typically like those do match, but that's the sometimes like magical thing about the math based indicators, right? I don't think they predict, but like they are somewhat useful when you don't have the levels. But just a note, but I think this makes sense. 47 to 49 is like very key to watch. Let me just bring that up. So just walk through like what I think about your analysis. Let me just erase what I had. So couple of horizontal levels, right? So we are right now at the bottom of the 45, right? Which is right here. So these two lows.
Oh,
So there's kind of a level there, and then
I didn't see that one.
and then there's a bit there at like 49. But if you count these wicks, like 47 to 49, and then up into 50, which is this one, 51. So really like anything from 47 to 51 is a potential rejection level, right? It's like, it's a very big zone. So I would say if you are somewhat cautious, right, when it starts to move up, like you could definitely start to take profits here and then see the reaction, right? The more levels we break on this move up, the better. But I think until we clear like 51, I wouldn't be like super confident in calling this like not a dead cat. I kind of do think this can do that, but I don't know. Like the logical thing would be like in like pretty much all within this range, just find a level that you're comfortable with, and like if you're already in profit, then like sit a bit, wait a little bit patiently, because even from current level to up here, you're only looking at 17% like marginal profit there. There's no point chasing this and risk getting caught, right? Because any rejection like this or like this would mean this is the top of a dead cat bounce. So that would look really ugly on you if you like FOMO'd in up here. So the better way, the safer way is to just wait for these levels to get clearly broken. If you are bullish, or if you're bearish, wait for them to clearly reject. And so if this gets rejected, like what Wonka is expecting, decent shorts definitely, but I don't know. I wouldn't target 22 because I think that's kind of a stretch take profit. I would say at the very least we can hit this range, right? So if you draw a triangle there, right, that's these 4 candles. That week there's a consolidation. So from 38 to 42, right? That for sure will get tested. That's the first support level, right? If you are taking this short, and then down here, right, around 36, just the kind of the midline of this previous range from 30 to 41. Also good target. I would probably use this target if I were to gun to my head and I have to make a prediction. Then if a retracement happens, I say this is the point to bounce from or to target. But I'm not taking it because I don't. That's why I say like gun to my head. I'll say this is the level to pull back to. But I think the main like really high conviction plays that I'm willing to put a lot more money in is break of 51. Then this long here will be like very high chance for a win, and then probably break below 36. This will be a good short, I think. That's just the kind of trades I like to take. I don't like aggressive entry so much. Inter-range, right? I like to ride the trends when they clearly develop. So that's why, like, I wasn't long here. I rather long on like once this is established and then it's broken above 40, then on the retest I like to long. Same as this, right? If you haven't longed yet, then you will wait for the next breakout, and then the retest I would long. So this is my kind of trading style. But I think your levels make sense. Like if you are unsure and you're just kind of following, I would say these levels are very key to watch, from even all the way from 45 to 51. Like what happens here? Like I said again, the more levels we break in this range, the better. Break about 51, clearly next stop like 100K. I think that's a decent target. But if not, then still could see more downside. So I know again that's that's kind of saying like could go up, could go down, but that's trading like 80% of the time. There are rare times where that there are high conviction plays, which is like, for example, last week when I said I was buying, right, broken above 40. So on this dip, made a clear video here. I said I was buying this dip. Not that many of these plays that I would clearly say, okay, I expect the next move to go which way. Right now, I'm not so sure. But just looking at pure short term, right? TA is all about riding the trend. So right now, clearly, like potential new uptrend, right? So as long as this low has been respected, right? So we made a first low. If we make another higher low above 38, then even short-term uptrend still going. Now, whether that breaks above 51 or not, we'll see. But that's why another reason why I'm not so keen on shorting here. But that's just me. Like, I could be totally wrong, like how I was wrong down here, right? A lot of people bought, I sold because my level was too tight. When you recognize you're wrong, you just gotta like not be stubborn about it, right? Because nobody's always right. Whoever claims to be always right is definitely lying. So I got shaken out on this, right? On this candle close below like all of these previous wicks. So once I recognized that, clear V-shaped recovery, right? Clear shakeout because there was no weekly close, not even really a daily close there. I saw that level was too tight. No worries. I lose about 5% there, get back in, ride the rest of the move. This is what a trader does. A magical internet predictor would tell you, I always buy the bottoms here. I short the tops here. But you know that's because they don't ever trade. So yeah. Right. So bit of takeaway is I think Wonka can definitely also agree with this. Is like there's no point trying to chase too tight of margins. Probably trading is all about riding the larger trend, right? So even I would say Wonka, even if like 22 does happen, right, and you think that will happen, like entering here. If you were right, assuming that the next move is like this, right? Entering here, your win rate isn't as high as like entering here, and then it would be even higher entering here. So I would say sometimes this first part of the margin, right, is better off left on the sidelines. And then once the trend is a bit clear, you lose a bit of the margin, but percentage-wise, you lose a bit of the margin, but you gain in win rate. And then because there's leverage, you can always up your leverage, and then you just kind of, once you have a higher win rate trade, it's a bit easier to take. It's the way I like to do it.
That's very smart what you just said, Vivek. And usually what wave traders do is that we don't catch wave 1 and 2.
Okay.
I mean wave 1.
Yeah.
Like we don't catch top or bottom. Like the trend has to be confirmed with higher low.
Yeah. That's
But
okay.
I mean, I've been waiting for this for long, so like I want to top it from short. I want to short it from top. So.
I honestly I hope you're right so that you can make money. I really don't know. I'm glad to have your opinion so that it's like keeps me in check, and then yeah.
So the thing is that if we resume the bull market, right, everyone's gonna benefit from it. Like I'm gonna love bull market because in bull market you get a lot of memes.
Yeah.
And you love it, like a lot of fun, a lot of what coins come out like with their names and everything. It's fun, but yeah.
I would just say like everyone that's listening and following Wonka, like please don't like judge him based on what his analysis is. Like, we're always bullish, right? We're not shitting on any coins or Bitcoin or your bags. Like, it doesn't matter. If you don't want to listen to it, you don't have to listen to it. Just like, I respect him fully. Like, he takes his own trade, I take my own trades. It's, you know, I can guarantee that if just because Wonka has a bearish analysis, he clearly gives you the reason, and if you don't respect that and you don't like it and you somehow diss him just because he, from a logical analysis, come up with a bearish outlook, then you will be kicked, like, for sure. So keep that in mind. Yeah, that's all I have to say is trade your own analysis. Make sure you trade what you understand. Okay, so thanks, Wonka. I think it's a really great, even just for myself, like alternative scenario that I should keep in mind.
Thank you, Ibi. Thanks, Hans.
Appreciate it. Okay, so I would say just a bit more of my own analysis. So what I see right now is it's still just I'm reading this as a new uptrend, at least towards the, you know, high 40Ks in the 50s. So same old range levels that I just mentioned, right? From 45 there's a level, 49, and then 51. Break above 51, conviction will be much clearer, right? Now, assuming that we even test a bit more of these levels, I think this is currently a period that's beneficial to take longs. So that's why looking at the same Bitcoin dominance chart, right, where we have broken below the trendline support, right? Assuming Bitcoin can at least have a bit more upside to go, and Bitcoin dominance even stays sideways or continues this breakdown, then this is a optimal time for altcoins, right? So starting off with Ethereum, let's look at ETH versus BTC. This is what I typically look at for ETH's performance against Bitcoin. And last week, I had this exact same level I mentioned from 0.068, this previous high. We need to take that out in order for this to confirm as not a bull trap, because yes, we did break out of the triangle, but oftentimes break out of the triangle just falls back down like this. However, we have broken above both the triangle and this previous high. So now it's looking to me, I think with a definitely higher than 50% chance probability that ETH is going to outperform Bitcoin. So I'm back into the mindset of buying dips on ETH instead of being risk averse and like not being in ETH. So I have already bought some back. Specifically looking at dollar chart, right? We were looking at the 2900 level, right? Which was tested 3 times here as resistance. We were, you know, speculating that for the ETH BTC breakout, we also want to see ETH dollar breakout above 2900, and it did that this week. So another nod to our initial plan to say, okay, we have broken above, now retest here around 29 is optimal entry point. So a couple points, right? If you're still waiting on the sidelines, if you're already in, I would just hodl. I think this is a good, more upside to go. But first level to enter is definitely 28, 29-ish, these 3 highs, these 3 resistance levels. And then second, right around 26, which was this weekly candle. No, just daily candle there. Very small support. Another interesting level. Third level here, right around 23. So that is the double bottom here, right? So how to double bottom there? So the top of the double bottom breakout is called the neckline. and you see back here, we also had 2 tests of this level. So 1, 2, test, form a support, break down below the support. Here get rejected, right? So it forms a resistance and a neckline. Another second bottom getting printed, break above the neckline, right? So now the neckline here becomes a good entry point as a support. So 3 levels you can buy at: 29, 26, 23, right? But I'm taking a relatively aggressive approach, and I have already bought, and so I would say 29, right? Worst case 20, 26. I would put my stop loss in this case below 23, because I'm expecting this to be relatively, short-lived, if any dips. So if it dips as low as 23, I would say this is looking, my analysis was most likely wrong. So far, so good. So far, still buying the dips, 28 to 26. Okay, and then what else? Right, Doge. So I was looking at Doge, and I entered Doge yesterday. Thing with Doge is typically, Doge is a very retail coin, and it's honestly, its pattern tends to repeat very often, in the sense that every time the move is like these huge moves, right? On just a breakout. There's no dips, effectively. That's what I'm trying to say. So assuming this, right? Every time that it has formed kind of these kind of trend lines, and when it breaks the trend line, you just enter, right? Because buying dips, the dips never come, right? You see, the first time here, not much dip. Second time here, not much dip. When it starts dipping, it already is near the top. That's how crazy Doge runs typically are, right? You see, breaking above not only the initial trend line or a diagonal trend line, but also a bit more horizontal, right? So when it makes one of these moves, it does a diagonal trend line, which is typical, like a bull flag, what you call, and then it breaks out of the bull flag, starts trending a little bit sideways, right? There is typically a accumulation period sideways like this, where it respects the bottom of the bull flag, and then once it breaks accumulation, it just goes. It just like no more dips, right? So that's why looking at the same thing here. Diagonal trend line, bottom clearly formed right around there, right?
Maybe can I ask you something, please?
Yeah, of course.
Can you put the retracement on Doge from top to bottom?
I'm sure it'll be very. So you want the entire run or one of these legs?
No. The last one.
Okay. So.
Yeah. I think they will act as resistance.
Yes, I think this would be very similar to 618. You're looking at what it.
I mean, from top to 70 cents to the low that it just did.
Oh, from 70 cents to 16. Okay.
Yeah.
Fib is here. Okay.
Yeah.
Do that. So 618, yeah. So okay, you see 236 is already mapping out to be a very, it matches the bottom. Well, I would say the top of the consolidation. Yeah, right around there. If you hide this, how do I hide this individually? Hide here. Okay, so this would be what I would consider as the top of the consolidation band or bottom here. So breaking out of the trend line, starts going sideways a bit. there's about 4 tests of this support here, break down the support, test as resistance here, and then now it has printed the two lows here. So that's the bottom. This will be the top, and once we break above here, clearly the next move starts going, and it would just like kind of blast off, is judging from previous runs. So how do I bring that back? Not sure. I'll do it again. So mapping the fib retracement from top to bottom, you see this is the 23.6%. 50% here, also significant. Right. That here is 50%. 618, not so much. But yeah, I think 236 and 50% here are very, very clear. Yeah, fib is really good. When, like I said, like when there isn't these price levels, but if I take this bottom long, I would take this as first target, right? This is second target, this is third target. But if I extend further, I would say, correct me if I'm using this wrong, but I would do like a fib extension from top to bottom, and then how do I use this again? No, bottom to top, I think.
Yeah, from bottom to top, exactly.
Yeah, and then you map this to the low. So when you don't have any levels, right? If I can clear my drawings, that would be great. Okay, here. Bottom to top. Okay, and then so you see. This clearly maps already the bottom accumulation period. It has the 50% respected. So now you have a couple take profit targets that prices never visited. So in my opinion, this is how I will use it. Yeah. But like I said, I pretty much never use it. I'm surprised I have colors here already. Looks like I styled this before. But yeah, so just a very typical pattern that I spotted on Doge is like when these bottom ranges get broken, it just goes, right? So I would say entering anything in this range is good, and then you might get one breakout retest at best here, but then it'll do like something like that, because this is where Elon starts tweeting typically, and yeah, it's just a retail coin, so it's what it does, right? Like no coin does this on a breakout, like that's just, and consistently like 4 times before, right? So it's weird, but that's why it makes it easy to trade, right? So that's why, like, typically on a breakout, I don't like to trade breakouts, right? I like to trade breakout retest, but because there's always just the risk of missing one of these because there's no pullbacks, I just long. So that's why I've already entered, right, on the break of this trend line. Sorry, please don't magnet here. So on the break of this trend line, I've already entered Doge, right around like 244, I think was my entry. So currently still waiting, but yeah, as long as alt season starts going, I think Doge will be the one of the first to run. Aside from that, I don't know what else. Right, so I was looking at 3 specific coins to pick up. I have already mentioned these 2 weeks ago, also on TikTok, which are the coins that have outperformed Bitcoin in the correction since mid-May. And you would know these coins already. So they're Axie Infinity, right? AXS. Already up like 4 or 5x since beginning of May, right? So when they can decouple from the rest of the market, so when the rest of the market is going down, these coins are going up, it shows that they're super strong. So CoinGecko is so slow. So Axie Infinity is one, Quant, QNT is another one, and Olympus DAO was the third one that I was interested in pick up. Yeah. So I think these are mostly still around the same price. So if you want to kind of be ahead of the market a little bit, you could start to look at mid-cap altcoins like these. They are around the 50 market cap ranking. So I would say mid-cap. So you wouldn't see them run right away, but they are right after, your ETH, Doge, like your Polkadot, Kusama, Chainlink. Once those like have popped off, these will run right after. So again, Axie Infinity, Quant, and Olympus DAO. Specifically with Olympus DAO, though, you have to stake it in order to get most of the benefits. So make sure you study that project if you're gonna take part, because it's a rebasing token. So a bit advanced. If you don't understand what rebasing is, probably stay away from it. Okay, so second one is Quant, and lastly is Olympus DAO OHM. Jesus, CoinGecko is so slow. Okay, OHM is the ticker. I think this one is a bit lower in market cap, currently around 450 million. So I would say this is like mid to low cap. So you would see this run a little bit later, even later than Axie and Quant. But same analysis, right? It has vastly outperformed Bitcoin and rest of the market in the correction. Okay. So aside from that, that's pretty much it for all the prepared content. Let's move into a bit of Q&A and bring up DAO ideas right now. Just for the prepared questions, I'll run through this really quick. Yeah, so we didn't get as many questions this week. Again, like if you guys think the content is already super great, yeah, like just say so, right? But because we want to run it as a DAO, right? We're a content DAO, so we want to make sure there's you guys know that there is a discussion always, right? If you think someone should be kicked off the calls or analysis is completely wrong, or like we don't want to hear about it, send us a message and we'll make sure that what you say is considered. And that's why we have all the DAO ideas, ask anything, and events content. So Elliot asked, NFTs they did some numbers last couple of days, maybe some gems projects to watch for. I myself haven't been following NFTs for the past 3-4 weeks, I say. New NFTs specifically, but I stand by my picks still. One of the new ones, Parallel NFT with a card game that's also tied into NFTs. A lot of hype around that. Check that out, learn about it. I'm seeing a lot of activity in the original CryptoCats, not the Mooncats, but the original CryptoCats. The floor has risen from like around 0.2 like 2 weeks ago to now 2 ETH. So actually 10x in the floor. I follow the CryptoCats bot on Twitter with notifications, and it has just like every buy is like higher than the previous. I don't see anybody talking about it yet. Ava Stars, still expecting the price discovery to start very soon, since they have sold out of all 5 series. Hash masks always will show that because I hold quite a few like of the top hash masks. but I am getting like DMs about top hash masks, which I haven't gotten for a long time. So buying interest, at least from the top masks, the top collectors, is coming back. Aside from that, I don't have much more NFT gems or picks. If you want the latest like day-to-day new NFT mints, make sure you join the Discord, discord.gg/bacon, and come into our NFT chat and NFT gems. So the NFT chat is where all of your NFT enthusiasts, I see a couple mints already. There's one called Fluff, FTM Pumps, Sunks is another one that's I shared yesterday. So every day there's new mints, and we are quite on top of things when it comes to new mints. Not everything gets shared in the gems channel, but if it's something really good, we will keep track of it in a separate channel. But make sure you join the NFT chat in our Discord. I also see people are speculating on NFT projects tokens. NFTX going up, consistently up to $230 now, really good. As usual, the same picks, right? Stand, Decentraland, Mana, NFTX, Muse, NFT20, another fractionalization protocol, Reflex Labs, Engine. There's actually an index for NFT coins called Metaverse Index, made by the same guys at DeFi Polks. So it's Index Co-op that made that. It covers basically all of the top NFT protocol coins on Ethereum. If you don't want to pick individual coins or collectibles, that's one to look out for. But yeah, NFTs are definitely still very hyped right now. Dave Ether asks, keen to learn about trend reversal signals, any on-chain Bitcoin money flows we can review. Not much on-chain this week, but reversal signals, I think I covered this briefly last week when you asked Dave Ether about RSI and MACD and how I like to use them. So I like to use them as reversals, not continuations. So just to show you a very quick example of a reversal signal as spotted by RSI. If you look at Bitcoin, clear all my drawings. This is the daily chart. And I can tell you that there's most likely a reversal signal down here and the reversal signal up here, right? Just as a same as I covered last week. So if you bring up RSI, relative strength index, a reversal signal with RSI or MACD is in the form of a divergence, hidden divergence. Or no, this is not a hidden divergence. This is just a regular divergence, where in an uptrend, a reversal would be prices making higher lows. So, right, clear all the drawings. Higher highs, excuse me. 3 higher highs, right, on the price. But you see on the RSI, we made 3 lower highs. This means momentum is running out and these highs are potentially the top, right? And you see the reversal follow suit. And you can't just use this to independently with itself, because most of the time you have to pair it with like on the price action, right? With a lower high. So this was a clear reversal to confirm this divergence playing out. So when price makes a sequence of higher highs, but RSI or MACD is showing lower highs, potential divergence signal, but when price makes a lower high, it means that it has been confirmed, right? So the trend clearly reverses. Same thing down here, right? So 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3. So price making lower highs, right? And then RSI making lower lows, RSI making higher lows. This is a potential reversal. Now, this isn't as clear, right? Because these 3 don't respect the a clear trend line, and these two other RSIs are kind of around the same level, same as these prices. So this is a bit difficult to trade. That's why, you know, the signal here wasn't so clear, and that's why I didn't really even look at this. So the clear reversal here would be when a new higher low is made, right? So first low, higher low, a third low, like relatively the same. Now a fourth higher low, this is the clear reversal signal, not down here. There was no signal here, in my opinion. Looking at on-chain order flow on the exchanges, there was a bit of a short squeeze that you could spot, but on the price and volume, there's nothing there. Okay, so back to events chat, just a bit of live questions. Any take on last week's order flow? I would expect it to be most likely the same. Let's look at it. I haven't actually looked at it for the past week. So the site I use is coinalytes.net. So going to coins, Bitcoin, and going into Bitcoin perp on Binance, because Binance has the accounts ratio that we're interested in. We have a couple things. Funding rates. We have open interest. And we have long short accounts ratio. Zoom this out to daily. Okay, funding is going up. Funding is even more up, which is a really good thing. So shows that this rally hasn't died down yet. People are willing to pay more than spot price to long. So people are still longing, which is good. Open interest about the same as last week. So that's the second chart here. Let me zoom this to full screen. So make this thicker. So first off, funding overall uptrend, right? Really good. This shows that the total buying power is coming back. People are willing to pay more premium to long. And so that's why the futures or the perpetual swap is trading above spot. That's what the funding rate dictates. And then open interest here is kind of relatively the same as last week, even though more buying power has set in. So more shorts have turned into longs in a dollar value sense, not in an accounts sense. Lastly, okay, so long short accounts ratio, the third chart here, down here. Let me bring this to the left here. Zoom it out so you can compare, right? So the most important chart here, most insightful chart is the long short accounts ratio, and you see we had a brief peak. So some people longed, right? But still, they still shorted. So long short accounts ratio right now, very similar to, in fact, around the same level of lows as what we had at 34K capitulation and around the 30K, like when I got shaken out. So when most of the retail was wrong, they were short down here, and the same retail is still short, right? At least the same accounts ratio. So yes, a lot of them got squeezed out, and that's why this open interest has dropped. But in this recent move, people took shorts, actually. Small accounts took shorts, while overall position, as you can see from funding rate, went up. So large accounts took longs, small accounts took shorts, judging by this total. And open interest is still relatively high, same as last week. So there's still more downside to go, which means a lot of these shorts are still waiting to be squeezed. So yeah, overall more upside is what I see from this. When that completes, well, is when open interest sets back down to these levels. This would mean longs and shorts are kind of, there's not so much outstanding leverage positions anymore. And long short accounts ratio starts to be average again, which would mean that a lot of retail have started to long as well. So the market is in like bubbly territory again, right? And prices have priced in. Everyone's expecting prices to go up again, and at that point, it's not so sure anymore. But yeah, so looking at order flow, currently still bullish. OH, thank you for the analysis. Thanks. John HBG asks, question, assuming the bull market does resume fully, has your bull market exit strategy changed? In particular, have you changed potential price targets? No, it's just still the same. Based on stock to flow, it's between 100 to 200K for Bitcoin. And based on ETH to Bitcoin ratio, so that's low end 0.1 ETH per Bitcoin, 0.1 Bitcoin per ETH. So that's 0.1 times 100K is 10K is as the low target for ETH, and high target would be 0.2, was it? Or 0.15? 0.15. Yeah, 0.15 times 200K, so 10 to 30K is the range for ETH take profits. Pagoda Hut says, what did VB say about ETH? He's looking to pick up. He's looking at uptrend and buying from 26 to 28. Yes, that's what I'm doing. Did we already get an update on the BaconDAO roadmap and progress? Came in late. No, not yet. So just for everyone listening, so we have a internal team call with DAOmaker next week, just to finalize the dates. And I think us and them were both quite convinced that this is a much better time to launch than like May, June, July, right? Because market's coming back, everything's bullish, altcoins are going up. So for us as well, we are pretty much all ready. Yeah, we put out the announcement, a sort of a teaser, and said 2 weeks about a week and a half ago. Trying to keep true to that, so look out for like very soon, this month. Aside from that, we do have centralized exchange listing planned, but that has to be after the launch, right? And then yeah, BaconDAO Farm and the NFT membership, the tickets, they have all been deployed on Rinkeby as well as the front end app. This will allow you to stake Bacon or Bacon liquidity pool tokens to mint and burn the NFTs. And then with these NFTs, you access the Discord, the hub, and the Discord is already through Collabland. The hub is through a custom interface that I've built. So you can, as long as you're on the hub, you can, the app will check your NFTs and it will make sure you have the right groups assigned on the hub so you can unlock the right categories and topics. Aside from that, yeah, exciting stuff ahead. A couple people have asked already. We do plan to also launch on PancakeSwap. So we have a bridge that's already deployed, well, tested at least, but there's no token there yet. In partnership with another project, announcements to be coming very soon once that's live. So on trading, right, for sure, we'll be on Uniswap, we'll be on PancakeSwap, and the DAO maker, and then centralized exchange listing after that planned. What else? And then right after launch, the Axie Infinity program will pretty much start around the same time, because then we have the Bacon token subsidy for our scholars. Bacon rewards for community made content, like Dave Ether's what's it called, the Dave Ether's stuff, reviews. They will be rewarded same as anyone else if they want to post stuff. Right, we have a mirror publication that will go live on hopefully this Wednesday. We'll need all you guys' support to get us on there, so we can start posting public research articles and do crowdfunds for them and issue NFTs along with them. Zuidos has suggestion to limit the weekly call to strictly 1 hour. You're at longer than 2 hours again. I know, like, it is what it is, right? I'm not sure how, like, it's there's a lot to cover. I think even if I left it at everyone just talking, I think we'd cover less content, and it would still be probably 1 hour and a half. Maybe we'll break it up to 2 calls. Let's get some ideas, right? Let's get some ideas, and then you can even put together here. So I'll start it. So for these, to get the DAO's input on this, because we are a DAO, right? And like you said, Zuido, suggestion. Technically, this is the DAO's content, right? So you guys have all the rights to make suggestions and even proposals. So I'll start a discussion for this on the discussion hub. So idea, ways to how to reduce weekly Sunday community call length to 1 hour. Separate into 2 calls. Limits content. Other comments, right? I'll create this topic, and then I'll share this right here. Focus is on what we need for the week to come. Yeah, I know, like, this being part of the Sunday call will make sense, and have the other call on Saturday or Friday to be a retrospective of the week. That's a good idea. If you guys could just post these ideas in the thread I just shared. This is the whole point, right? It's like everything you post on the thread is kept on there. We know, like, the ideas we could potentially implement, right? And then we could put that into proposals. And because we want ideally everyone to contribute to the calls and make ideas, and later on there could be individual members that might come on and be rewarded. So the call structure should be kind of discussed and voted on by the DAO as well, because it's part of what we offer as a DAO. Is the 10K challenge vault will be open to the public soon? Yes. So I set up, if you checked out our roadmap announcement, there is a plan to use enzyme.finance to set up a on-chain, they call on-chain asset management. It's basically an on-chain pool to for anyone to deposit and withdraw at any time, but for a limited number of managers to trade, right? So I set up one from just myself for now, where so if you look at, so there are a bunch of funds people have set up, and people can deposit, for example, into this USF fund. And this only has one depositor, but there could be many. Another better example is this one. I know this is a quant guy that trades. So 150 other people deposited a total of $1.1 million in this, and he's trading this portfolio. And this has been around since March. right? So currently he's
Maybe one
holding.
question.
Yeah.
Is that Enzyme Finance only for DeFi, or can you do perpetuals there?
You can't do margin. I think they might add leverage tokens later for this, but right now it's only for DeFi. So it's only ERC20 tokens, a limited amount of ERC20 tokens on ETH. They do have like some synthetics. They have synthetics, so you can short Bitcoin and ETH on 1x leverage. So yeah, you could say that's like that's not really perpetual, but that's a derivative. So you can short some, but not a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's 150 depositors on this. Here's what he's holding. And make sure, if you guys are interested, check this app out, Enzyme Finance. They are previously called Melonport. They've been around since like 2018. Very legit project. I do have so I set up my thing on here. Browse all. So I set up just one for myself, called Virtual Bacon's like challenge. And right now I'm the only depositor, and I limited this to only myself, just so that I test out like what I can hold in here, deposit, withdraw, make sure that's clear, so that people don't get scammed out of their money and it's easy to use. But as far as I know, this is a very legit protocol. That's millions of dollars are being managed on here. So this is going to be part of the BaconDAO offering. Is if you are a member, you will be entered into the whitelist, which is managed on this app already, to enter into, for example, Virtual Bacon's vault or pool, or Wonka's pool. And then in here, Wonka's maybe like it'll be like Bitcoin and ETH, and then like inverse Bitcoin or something, I don't know. In my pool, it'll be like maybe ETH and DeFi stuff. And then you can track like the historical performance, right? Average monthly return, which is right now really shit because like I just started yesterday. But yeah, so this is one of the benefits of BaconDAO. Check this out. Once I have tested this to work well, I will make another pool for the public. But this is, I plan to do this challenge first to use this to at least like track my own like a 10K portfolio, see how it does, and also get used to using it, and so that I can answer people's questions. Cool. So that's with Enzyme Finance. And lastly, let me just go on YouTube to check last bit of questions. Retroactively, I know like we need a bit longer Q&A. Maybe it's only the Q&A part that's need to separate it retroactively. I know like I don't need to be separate. So perhaps we host 2 calls, one for prepared content and one for Q&As. That might make more sense. Nicolo asks, I'm just jumping in, quick question. Do you own any Doge, and how do you feel about Tory Lane's NFTR album dropping? I don't know how those are related. I do own some Doge right now. I might not later if it doesn't do well. It's really just a trade. Hydra DX, I've heard of that. It's a decent project. I'm not sure what they do though. Bacon token is not yet available. It'll be within this month, very soon. Does Wonka ever present? He doesn't share screen. I think what I've been trying to do, right, with last week's call, when we try to test Zoom, is to allow other contributors to just share their screen. So instead of I like bring up their chart and whatever, like, and trying to make sense of what they're talking about live, they should be sharing screen, or if one of them wants to do face cam. I think that's a better approach. So that's why I wanted to do Zoom. I'll try to get that out next week. Is this a rejection from 44K a cool off? Please answer. Like we gave full analysis in this call. Maybe you're probably just early in the call. Cool. Check the Hex USDC chart. I haven't checked Hex yet. I'd love to get some Doge at 50 cents again. What do you think about Algorand? Algorand's a legit project, but you have to wait for Bitcoin dominance to start trending down, which it is already. So it's a good time if you're into Algorand. What do you think about Pulse Chain? Yeah, I'm a fan. I sacrificed a lot about it, into it. Not so much about fundamentals, but just purely based on the Hex community being a cult, Richard Hart having a lot of money and being a really good marketer, and now that he has this whole project of Hex that has done incredibly well, outperformed literally every other coin aside from maybe Shiba Inu and Doge, and he's gonna for sure market that, and Pulse Chain supposedly being the largest sale ever, right? So is it a good time to invest in ICOs? There's not really a good time. You have to have the right ICOs, right? So not much I can say there. There's always going to be shit, right? But oftentimes there are good ones as well. You really have to do your research. Aside from that, that's all the questions on YouTube, and I think that's it. Thanks guys for joining this week's call. I know it's again over 2 hours long. It's just kind of, I ramble way too long. I ideally I don't want to cut this shorter in terms of content. I want to cut down the length. So yeah, maybe we'll do 2 calls. But like other live streams, they go on for like 2 hours, right? So okay, thanks guys for joining in. See you again next week. In the meantime, make sure you go on our hub.bacondao.com. Check out our announcement for the Axie Infinity scholarship proposal. Vote yes or no. If you're a scholar, follow us to keep in mind for when we open up scholarship applications. Check out our latest idea discussion on reducing the weekly call length. Sign up for the BaconDAO call. Look out for our BaconDAO can launch very soon in the next few weeks. Yeah, stay safe, and hope you guys can all make money. See you guys next week. Bye bye.